with buttons, with instructions, and I use a Facebook page with my students in order to post lectures that I have learned to shift from traditional lecture to a lecture that is conceived for online teaching. And also, we should not also keep passive and say, well, it's not my work, it's not my responsibility. We should encourage, and we should also motivate ourselves, colleagues, and all students to use technology, to use ICTs, to use social media for the purpose of not learning, but for a high quality of learning. We cannot ignore the importance of face-to-face learning, nor can we dismiss the idea of keeping the online learning or technology out of our sight. So we should update our knowledge. We should cope with new technology, but doing with the right way, doing in the right direction with the right population. So at the end, I would like to thank again all those who contributed in the success of this great event, and thank you, all of you.
Thank you very much, Professor Amal, for your contribution. Last but not least, we would like to welcome Dr. Nandan Bhattacharya from Jadavpur University in India to start his work to present his work entitled Alternative Teaching Learning Methods, Using Theatre as a Tool. In his work, Dr. Nandan will be referring to the near future where education will not be for all free. In the third world, of course, and how theatre will be an alternative. Dr. Nandan, hello.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh,
would you please upload your presentation?
Yeah,
Doctor?
yeah. Actually, I am less powered with technological advancement, and I have nothing directly and specifically point. So I have no PowerPoint. Don't worry. Anyway.
No problem. The floor is yours, okay. Doctor.
Thank you. So greetings from Kolkata. Greetings from India. All the way 4.5 hours time zone apart from your locality. And let us start. My esteemed colleagues, dignitaries present in the platform, and obviously the organizers, my heartiest greetings and gratitude to you to let me in and share my views with you, with these esteemed participants. So friends, I start with a very bad morning. Yeah, it is very bad morning for us, because you know that bombers are now regularly opens their fireballs, civilizations ruins, people cry out there, and mothers think to keep their babies a few days more in the womb, so that those will not turn up in the tomb. So under this burning canopy, friends, we are sharing education and pedagogy, facing, online or offline, blended or something like that. But education for whom? Education for whom? Handful of people like us. Do we think that from each and every corner of the world, Shakespeare or Einstein is echoed? No. Do we think that from each and every corner, each and every child, kid, goes to the school, return back to his mother? No. So education for whom? Handful of bureaucrats, handful of technologists, scientists, artists. It must not be the scenario. Education must be for all. So I intend to restrict myself rather in practical works or any so-called case studies, but into the philosophical realm, into the praxis rather you can call it. So let us start with a quote from Plato. What Plato says? He says, bodily exercise, when compulsory, does no harm to the body, but knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. Another quote from Stanislavski. He is well-known, reputed, theater practitioner. Stanislavski says that to arouse a desire to create is difficult. To arouse a desire to create is difficult. To kill that desire is extremely easy. That's what Stanislavski says. So the basic fundamental thing, fundamental aspect of education is to create a desire that must be. But what the situation really exists all over the world, I think, but I am not expert in world opinion to give world opinion. So I restrict again myself from a couple of examples from my own country, that is India. Recently, we have surveyed a questionnaire kind of study, and there the faculty members were asked that what they feel about the problems students face during the COVID period or just after the COVID period. And there, friends, you may find interestingly the network issue is the most vital aspect the faculty members considered. And what is the exact scenario in our country? 50% of all households have an annual income of less than 20,000 INR, means Indian rupee. And to provide the internet facility for their children, the parents have to share almost 2 to 3% of the money of the monthly income. That is the scenario. Do you know that almost 50% of Indian population were out of access of internet, but thanks to our government, thanks to our systems, that they could provide a little bit better scenario for the students later on, so that each and every students can join the online classrooms. But the scene is like that. So what we find in our classrooms each and every day. Don't we find backbenchers? Don't we find backbenchers having no confidence within him or her? Don't we find backbenchers who end their academic journey without any identity? Yes, we find. I think most of us present here agree with me. But what could be? What could be? Don't we lose several would-be academicians, would-be technologists, would-be scientists in each and every day? Yes. And in this regard, my second part I'm coming into, that is what theater can do. But before that, let us just compare with, prior to saying everything, I just pay my homage to two people, two legends. One is called Paulo Freire and another is called Augusto Boal. Yeah. So let us compare the conventional education system and the education system proposed by Paulo Freire and implemented in theater by Augusto Boal. In conventional system, you all know, I don't dare to discuss because this is a very esteemed platform. But for my sake, for my presentation's sake, I just want to point out those things, that conventional system is a banking education system where a top-down approach works. That means teacher to student. While in the Freudian system of education, you know, that it is a mutual, it is a dialogue-based education system. It is a horizontal education system where both teacher and student jointly make something new, create something new. And as Freire opines, this kind of system is a teacher-student relationship. In theater, it is coined by Boal. It calls spect actors. Spectator and actor are those two separate elements are merged together and create a theater jointly. That's why they call it spect actor, not spectator and actor, but jointly spectator and actor cumulatively forms something new, something creative. But, you know, my friends, that we have several constructs in our mind. That may be social construct, that may be economic construct, where we are bound to. But these constructions are era-specific, you may say religion-specific. It may work in micro level as well as in macro level. But one thing is clear, that always beyond that construction, if you want to go, if you want to advent, it's a taboo. You will be punished. You will be restricted. But the role of education, what should be the role of education, is to break these constructions and to liberate people. Liberation in every sense. This kind of system, how we can perform this, Freire says is it, you learn first, then you have to know how to unlearn, and then you again have to know how to relearn about something. What Wall says, construct something, try to know how to deconstruct that, and try to know again how to reconstruct something. So this is the whole system where we belongs to, so far the Freire and Boal is concerned. Now, just if you want how these constructs work, just if I ask a question, according to you, according to me, say for example, who is an intellectual? Obviously, my answer would be the 30 participants present here are the intellectuals. But do we think that a poor, carpenter or a peasant or a worker is also an intellectual? They are intellectual at their own field? No. We always use that constructs where we are learned to say that intellectual is only who those are educated as per the living education system where we are staying. That is the constructions. That is why we are constructed. But again, another part. Coming back to the issue, and my final part of my discussion is that how theater can break these constructions and how theater can enhance the creativity inside people. Aristotle said that faculty, passion, and habit. So everybody, every person, every living human being has its own creative insight. But we, the society, the system, doesn't always, obviously, sometimes it can be, but not always. We don't appreciate about the, the aptitude, the creativity of a person, but we always criticize what we don't have. Say, for example, a kid of class 6 or 7 gets 19 English, 10 in mathematics. He will be resulted into a fail. But he has got 19 English. We don't appreciate that. We criticize that, oh, little kid, you don't have the credibility to get pass mark in each and every subject. That's the system. In this regard, faculties can do a lot. Theatre can do a lot. How? Active participation in anything, it creates, it enhances the creativity. And when active participation and creativity merges, that produces dialogue. And when these three equally combine, it resulted into critical thinking. And that critical thinking is necessary for any kind of education, isn't it? So what is our task? To create that critical mind inside the students, inside our students. Now let me just share you a story. We have worked on class 9th standard in Indian education system. That is, the kids were 14 or 15 years old and they were being taught photosynthesis. You know photosynthesis? How the green plants produce the glucose and liberates oxygen, intakes carbon dioxide. The kids were taught about the scientific knowledge of photosynthesis at first. Then they were asked to play in the roles of carbon dioxide, oxygen, plant, water, etc. and etc. They did it. They did it so nicely. But my point is not that. My point is that after the discussion, after the play, we took an examination of them. We actually prepared a control body and an experimental body. The control body got, they were, but first of all, let me tell you that all those kids were first generation learner. Am I to stop?
Pardon, I could not hear the last opinion, please. Would you please repeat, Professor?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. I really had some noise around, so I couldn't hear.
Okay, it's okay. It's a problem,
Thank you.
technological problem. Anyway, I said that the students were asked to sit an examination, and we prepared a control group of 30 students and experimental group of 30 students. The control group, they turned up, the marks they obtained out of 10, they obtained 3.5. They were taught in a conventional way, but those experimental group playing theater, they resulted into 8.7 on an average. So that's what theater can do. My point is not so over. My last point is that, do you know, after the play, several weeks later, after, the school invited us again. In fact, we forgot about them. School invited us. And they said that the kids you involved in the theatrical play, they are going to implant 60 trees inside the school campus. Yes, 60 trees were implanted. It was 2019, just before the COVID. They are now pass out. Somebody of them are making graduation, but the trees are growing up, liberating oxygen in the air, freeing the mankind. That's what theater can do. My last part is, I have come to almost my end. What actually happens in case of theatrical involvement or artistic involvement? As I said, the active participation that can be, you may term is as the very term tactual kinesthetic learning, where the imprintation of the said material in the mind is far more better than conventional talk. Oh, another thing I omitted. When one kid was playing about carbon dioxide, he played the role of carbon dioxide like this. That carbon dioxide is a villain. We asked that kid, why are you playing carbon dioxide as villain? He said, sir, carbon dioxide is doing many harms to us, the whole civilization, so that must be a villain. That is also a construction, but still, that is the value addition in the education through theater. When he was taught that carbon dioxide does something wrong, makes something harm, it sparks him. And he instead played carbon dioxide as villain, while looking at him, the 6 players of oxygen, they played the role of hero, antagonist, and the carbon dioxide turned up into protagonists. That's what theater can do, and that is my postulation, you may say, or my discussion, you may say, to share to you, that if we regularly involve our students, not only in conventional educational practice, but involve them in some kind of artistic engagement, then active participation is possible. And after active participation, as I said earlier, that critical thinking may be possible. And through that critical thinking, the humanity, I must say, will fight for their own liberation. They will ask questions: why, how, what, etc. and etc. Just ensure the questioning among the students. That's all about my presentation was, and I think I am in time. If not, forgive me, please. So, timed attention you have paid to me, I am sincerely grateful about that. Let us hope for a good future, where again I say that in each and every corner of the world, in the Himalayas to the Arab deserts, in the islands of Atlantic to the most sophisticated American cities, each and every, the present 800 million people must be educated, and without education, liberation cannot be possible. And in education, we have to engage them in alternative education practice. That's all. Thank you very much. It is Namaste, Namaskar from India. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nandan. Very much pleased. Now we shall. Would you please keep silent? Okay. Now we shall move to the debate session. If any one of you wishes to ask any question, he is welcome to raise a hand. Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
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 I don't have any specific question, but I invite my colleagues if you have question for me, because unfortunately I have to leave in 10 minutes since I have a lecture
Yes.
in about 20 minutes. So if you have
Yes,
questions
indeed.
for me, you will be
Indeed.
welcome.
Professor Mustari, indeed, Dr. Hajira Hishor has asked you a question on the chat box.
Okay. What is her name? I don't see.
Hajira Hishor, do you want me to read the question for you?
Please, yeah.
Okay, so question for Professor Mustari. First, thank you for your insightful contribution, said Hajira. I am particularly interested in understanding how do you recommend the use of AI to further enhance our students' learning experience, since AI is a part of ICT and unfortunately our students are misusing it. Thank you again, dear Professor.
The use of what? I did not get. The use of
AI,
what?
the artificial intelligence, the AI.
Okay, the artificial intelligence. Well, basically, I think that our Algerian students misuse. For example, I have students who use Chat GPT. I got the honor to teach a PhD student from University of Jaya online, and one of the modules of the lectures or the classes I had to teach. The topic was about ESP and digital technology, and then we got a thorough discussion about the use of artificial intelligence, and I got the PhD student from University of Jaya who provided me with new technologies that I personally did not know, except Chat GPT and Mock, etc. But the others, I was thrilled about the new parameters and new types of artificial intelligence. But I guess that it's a matter of ethical issues. It means that we cannot control the student. We don't have, for example, if we speak about the University of Sidi Bel Abbas, we do not even have a program that filters plagiarism, as it's the case of the University of Tlemcen. And I have asked the dean personally last year, as being a member of the High Scientific Council. I say, why not a program that filters the PhD and master thesis? So we are in the standpoint. Now I think that it's matter of experience, of expertise from the teacher to control this artificial intelligence. But after all, it's a matter of to teach students ethical attitudes and ethical matters and parameters, how to write ethically without relying 100% on artificial intelligence or Google or online open access theses and articles. So it is a matter of ethics. I cannot claim I can by experience I can know that it is the student's personal style, or it is taken from Chat GPT, the most used one. But we cannot control. We cannot. We have just to. We are not here to think at the place of the student. We have to provide him with ethical tools, how to be dedicated, honest, and to have his scientific personality in studying, in writing. That's all.
Thank you
This is
very
my
much,
answer.
Professor, for your answer. I hope Dr. Hajira is listening and she got the answer she asked for. Moving to Dr. Muqaddam, I think she had a question earlier or a comment to Professor Andrew Breeze. Hayat, hello.
Morning. Hello, dear community from Algeria and from other parts of our world. So, in fact, I don't have a special question for Professor Andrew, but it's just kind of comment since, since you told us, Senior Andrew, that you don't have, you didn't present something related to COVID-19, its impact on teaching and learning process. But I want really to acknowledge and to thank you about the story just you've narrated for us about King Arthur. And since I'm a great admirer of storytelling and I do believe in the power of stories, so I wanted just to thank you about the story you've told us about. In an aim to, as I have presented it before, to heal our injuries and also, above all, to connect us across boundaries. So thank you so much. And just before giving you the word, I will just to switch to Spanish if my colleagues give me the permission to do that. So, Señor Andrew, I was really encantada de volver a escucharte usted otra vez. And durante la epidemia estuve en España, confinada en mi casa en Valencia. And lo que me ha llamado la atención era el hecho que la gente salía cada día a aplaudir y saludar en los balcones para aplaudir y saludar el cuerpo médico. Es para mí esto no se puede olvidar. Es solo una comunión nacional entre todos y todas. I revert back to English just from our sufferings during the pandemic. Really, we've suffered a lot, but we've learned a lot. Especially, I think that it has connected us more than before. So thank you very much. Thank you, dear Rida, for giving me the floor.
Thank you, dearest Hayat, for your Spanish language. It's glad to hear you talk in Spanish. If Professor Andrew Breeze wants to add a comment on something to Professor Muqaddam, you are welcome. Hello, Andrew? Professor Andrew, sorry. We can't hear you. Activate the mic, please. We really can't hear you. The mic.
Right.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. What can I do for you?
Dr. Muqaddam was asking questions, I think, in Spanish language. Hayat, are you here?
No, it wasn't a question. It was just an acknowledgement about the story.
Okay.
Senior Andrew has just told us, and my own belief that we can heal our injuries. We can be connected more than before, just through the power and the magical effect of stories. So I wanted just to thank you about your way, your insightful way of telling us the story. Though it was about King Arthur, but we can deduce, we can infer from it other lessons.
Indeed, and I can. I have I have learnt so much from my friends and colleagues in Algeria. It has been like a new aspect of my life. So I say tremendous thanks to all of you.
Thank you, Professor Andrew. Professor Hamada wants to say something. Yes, please, Professor.
Yes, thank you. I would like to thank everybody for bringing their contribution to this study. And basically, those who based their contribution on data collection, let it be literature like Professor Andrew, or the study provided by Amal from Egypt, or from India, or from elsewhere around the world. We cannot base, let's say, perspectives of developing online learning without data collection from a particular context. So all the contexts I heard today have been enriching, especially they focused on the input materials that we upload to the students, the instructional and pedagogical dimensions we provide the learners with, the socio-affective variables that were mentioned by many of you here, leading, of course, to artificial intelligence. Thank you very much, all of you, for bringing this contribution to this. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all for your comments and questions as well as interactions. If anyone wants to add something, you are welcome.
I would like to say something. Dr. Huda?
Yes, please. Yes.
Professor Rahmani wants to ask a question.
Yes, the floor is hers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Professor Andrew, do you hear me?
Professor Andrew? Hello? Professor Andrew? Yes, he can hear you.
There we go. Yes, well, again.
Well, Professor, I'm extremely delighted to meet you along that channel. So my question for you, we are not really entitled to answer you regarding the site of the cave dwellers. Given your
it is a big question.
Yeah.
It needs research.
Given your wide experience in terms of linking places with, linking places with names, what can you decide as to link in England with the cave dwellers?
Right. Well, I can only refer you to what is said by the editor of this volume. He has a long note. This is Maulana Muhammad Ali, and he refers in it to this ancient monastery of Glastonbury, which is in the west of England. He refers to the tradition of Joseph of Arimathea traveling there. This is a very old tradition, and planting a thorn which blossomed even in the middle of winter. And he refers also to the medieval English historian William of Malmesbury, and so on. So his conclusion is England could definitely be said to be the cave referred to in the Holy Quran, and the description of the cave given in verse 17 well applies to it, and so on. Well, for me, as somebody who specialized in the history of medieval England, this is fascinating, but I think we need to look at the sources. We need to go farther. But you see, when I talk about what I learn from Algeria and so on, I think this is a wonderful example. So I am very grateful, and particularly to those who gave me a copy of this book, because without it, I should be lost.
Okay, thank you. Can I add another question for the speaker from Iraq? I don't know whether she's still with us or not.
Professor Nawar,
This is Dr. Fadil. Fadil?
Yes, Professor Rahmani, I can't hear you.
So my question is addressed to the Iraqi speaker. If I remember well, Dr. Fadil, that's it?
Yes.
So
yes.
Now, in terms of the experience that you have had under COVID, what can you say that is how informative was it regarding future policy reform in Iraq? Did you get my question? Yeah. So I repeat again, how informative was the experience under COVID? How was it informative for future policy reform in Iraq?
For future policy in Iraq, actually, the people in the higher ups, I mean those who are in charge of the learning and teaching process, are always encouraging the hybrid sort of teaching and having both online and offline learning, and this is what we are usually and this is the way they encourage us, because you know that students nowadays come to college with very large number of students, and class nowadays, let's say, equal, let's say, 3 times of students in the past. So even without the existence of the pandemic, we are really in need of activating the online learning and of making use of it, and having a sort of assignment to our students to control their time, give them assignment to enhance their learning in order to exert their outside the university border. So this is the way actually we are doing it, and this is the way I do it as a teacher of academic writing, because I cannot benefit my students while they are in the circle on the border within the classroom. I usually give the lecture, and at the same time I leave the material in the Google Classroom, and I give some assignment in the classroom. The other assignments are left in the Google Classroom. I do some quizzes in the traditional classroom, other quizzes and assignments and things to be done are left for the class. So in this way, I can control my students' progress than just delivering a lecture and benefiting a little of the classroom. So this is the way, encouraging ourselves, encouraging our teachers, and this is the encouragement also of people in the higher ups in the of higher education, scientific research, in order to make use of both the online and the offline our students.
Thank you.
Now, my dear, this is you hear about or something else?
Thank you very much, Professor Nawal, for answering Professor Rahmani. I hope Professor Rahmani has got the answer. Hello?
Yeah, a little bit. We were distracted by this, by the mic. But anyway, I mean, maybe we're going to have future opportunities where we are going to discuss more these points.
Hello?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Professor Rahmani. I think Asma Rahmani, Dr. Asma Rahmani wants to ask another question.
Most welcome. Was it the point that I discussed? Yeah, thank you so much.
Asma, hello, yes?
Yes, hello everyone. First of all, I would like to thank all the keynote speakers
Technology.
for very good presentation.
Yeah, this is part of the problem, yeah. It's one of
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, dear. Yes,
Yes, we do hear you.
So I don't have a question, but I have a request from Dr. Ruth Breezy. If she could share with us her presentation, we will be grateful.
Dr. Asma, we are going to send you her presentation, but even live stream. We are going to share the link soon through the Facebook.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ronald, for your contribution. Well, Asma, I hope you've got what you wanted to.
Dr. Huda,
Yes, Nadia.
Dr. Noria Al-Rabah wants to add a comment.
Yes, but we can only take Dr. Ali Rabah question. Then please, we need to end the session to start the workshops.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. I would like to thank the participants from Algeria and outside Algeria. Thank you for your fruitful contributions. I would like to add a comment or expressing my disagreements towards introducing the AI in learning, as Professor Mustari has mentioned. I just would like to say that while IA can be a valuable tool in education, it's crucial not to solely rely on it. A balanced approach incorporating diverse learning methods such as human interaction and critical thinking skills is essential for comprehensive and well-rounded learning experiences. That's all. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Noria.
Thank you.
So the floor is yours, Dr. Huda.
Yes, Dr. Ghuna. Yes. Shall I end the session now?
Yes, dear.
Yes. Thank you so much, dear professors from all over the world. We are all pleased to hear you all discussing different perspectives, hoping to meet you in another scientific event where we can share our scientific contributions and research. Have a very peaceful day and night if you are at night at your home. Goodbye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Goodbye, Professor Hamada. Goodbye. Dr. Ghuna?
Yes, Dr. Huda.
Yes, you can announce the starting of the next session.
Yeah, so dear participants, announcing or declare starting the workshops. Professor Nasrin, you can start your workshop, dear. Professor Nasrin?
Dr. Ghunan.
Professor Nasrin, how are you?
Yes, I'm fine, dear. Can you hear me?
Very well, dear. So you can start your workshop and call the participants.
Yes. Thank you, dear, and have a nice day.
Thank you, for you too. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thanks a lot. So, dear participants, we are now with session 2. The themes are under the title, Online Teaching Experience. I think. So, with session 1, the theme, it is the impact of the pandemic on students' attitudes and motivation, teachers' training programs, educational platforms, teaching and learning experiences in the pre- and post-COVID era. So here we are in room 1. I'm calling the participants. Dr. Noor Huda Remil, are you here?